We moved to Mauritius and we had our grand opening in the ruins of Balaclava. I was emceeing that night, and I remember, from the first student who spoke to the performance, to the assembly that we had done, and it was all entirely student-led. There was a certain level of confidence, of a true African excellence that I frankly hadn't seen in a while. And obviously, it was a perfect crucible to do all of this because everything was new. Every single day for like the first 3 years of ALU, we were doing something for the first time.
I remember when in the second year, we were sitting on a table and then Fred said, we're going to start a campus in Rwanda. And then our eyes kind of like lit up.
Hey guys, so we're in Rwanda right now and we just finished week 1 of campus kickoff, which was connecting with Rwanda, and next week we're connecting with ALU, so we're all looking forward to that. Yay!
And today we are about to go on a hike in a few minutes. Okay, a scenic walk is what they call it. But yes, we are in lovely Kigali. Look at this amazing view. Oh, of course they can. All right, take care, Mauritius.
Bye!
We know you miss us. Bye.
Some of the most defining milestones for me in this ALU journey were obviously the formation of the team, those first 4 or 5 employees who joined us to make this happen. That was in late 2013, early 14. And then, of course, the launch of the first campus in Mauritius in 2015 with the first 60 learners and the first 50 staff and faculty. And, we all moved to Mauritius to launch this thing and got accreditation just in time. The launch of the ALU School of Business in 2016, formation of the ALU School of Conservation. That was quite a significant thing because it was an embodiment of this whole idea of missions, not measures, and building these schools in this university around those opportunities and challenges, right? And that's something that today is one of the most significant parts of ALU. One of the things that we are most renowned for, a wildlife economy research, the Wildlife Economy Index that we've created, the Business Conservation Conference. We're one of the world's leaders in the wildlife economy, right? And that's due to great people like Sue Snyman, Elizabeth Babalolo, who was part of that founding team, and Richard Vine. That's something that really stands out about ALU. Then the launch of the Rwanda campus in 2017, our very first graduation in 2018, the construction of our 2 campuses, one in Mauritius and one in Rwanda, and then finally the incubation of ALX, which then took many of the core ideas from ALA and ALU, then said, let's take some of the ethics and values and the leadership that we're developing at ALU, the leadership core, do it at scale at lower cost, and then infuse technology, right? And today we have this massive network of institutions. All of that would not have happened without ALU. So these are some of the defining milestones over the last decade.
So Tushar, beyond just school, why did you choose ALCHE?
So for me, it was more about the connections, because ALCHE was not just about a school in Mauritius, a university here, but it was having connections to Africa, to Switzerland, and even sending students to Silicon Valley and all of that. And coming here was like being abroad, but I'm still here in Mauritius.
I chose ALU because it's not just about getting a degree. It's a place where I can challenge myself to think differently and know how to create solutions for Africa. I wanted a university that focused on innovation, leadership, and community. So ALU stood out as a place where I can both grow as a software engineer and as a change maker.
Even though I was the last student to arrive, everyone was so warm and welcoming. The diversity, the openness that every student has was definitely something that blew me away too, because I didn't expect that. And then when it comes to the faculty, I think they have really been really good mentors to not just myself, but I feel like every student here as well. So it's not just a normal day-to-day thing of just attending lectures, but it's more of how can you leverage on the knowledge that they have? How can you learn more and more from them?
When I first came to ALU, I really wanted to belong. But I realized that in order to belong, I need to understand why I want to belong and where I want to belong. My experience connecting with other students and faculty here at ALU has been very exciting because we have a culture of community, and this community is very diverse. People from all over the continent of Africa are seen as one.
LC impacted me positively and holistically. LC brought me back to my purpose about social and environmental justice. Even if I'm in a corporate world, I don't have to choose between doing what I want and I like and doing something that is needed on the market. I can do both, actually.
10 years ago, I can't believe it's 10 years ago. 10 years ago, when I started at ALU, I had no clue. I had no clue what my life was going to be. We literally had to kind of interpret what ALU is going to look like, what ALU legacy vision is going to look like. And I believe our class did that very well. You find them as entrepreneurs, like really big entrepreneurs. You will find them in like the biggest companies in the world. You will find them in spaces where they actually are creating opportunities for other people or are creating jobs for other people.
The passion with which everyone brings to work every day, the learners and what they're doing, or when I meet them as alumni, doing really powerful things. I mean, Joseph from Ruwazi, his company is valued at $100 million or something like that, living in LA, building this incredible tech company, right? You've got Mope, who's a member of parliament in Lesotho, right? We have, all these incredible, founders of companies. I remember I was sitting in a restaurant the other day and there was a woman sitting at the table next to me and she was working for a foundation, managing a $100 million portfolio for them in Africa. And, she's an ALU graduate. Employers all around in Kigali tell me when they meet me how grateful they are that we exist. Everything as I imagined and even better.
For those 10 years, you can actually see from where you started to the very first graduation and what those students are actually doing. From those who are working in international companies, building companies, changing things on the continent and beyond. Seeing students being at Facebook, at Google, doing their PhD. And it's such a proud moment to feel like, actually, we contributed to all of this and we are seeing the results. And it only takes time for you to realize this.
The quality of the institution, beauty of the campuses, when I walk, whether it's the beauty of the Mauritius campus of the trees and the facilities, or the beauty of the Rwanda campus, won an award in the Wall Street Journal magazine on the front page. We built it in 6 months in the middle of the pandemic. And it's a gorgeous campus on 7 levels. The character of the faculty, the character of the staff who work there, and the quality of the young leaders. I mean, when I meet the people who are coming out of ALU and the traits that they have, the mindsets that they have, the passion that they have, it's everything I imagined and even more, right? I get goosebumps every time I visit ALU and I sit around with our students.
And these are orchid values. That for me is a big thing that when I told Cedric that we need our values to be hung up on our walls, and so this was the famous ALU men's football team. This is when I let Tabot be captain. The team wanted me to be captain, but I'm kidding, it's fine.
Delali looks so skinny. Crazy.
Yeah. They were decent. They were, middle-aged, had some talent. Some of them have aged gracefully, not all of them. I think Eddie here could, never mind.
Win any tournaments?
I'm sure they'll tell you they have, but Maybe it was like a self-organized tournament, you know?
How many games did you win?
We actually used to play five-a-side tournaments. We weren't that bad, but the students' games, we are 0 for 4. we never beat them. I hate to admit it.
Is it because you guys are too old for that?
I think so. And I think the one year we lost 7-2 or something. It was crazy. Oh, anyway, yeah.
Yeah, no, they were good. They were good guys. I think, yeah, the football contribution is obviously an important legacy, but what they have added to this institution far supersedes their alleged football skills. You know, yeah, all of them have been great cathedral builders, if you will. Yeah.
They say that as an entrepreneur, you should stay stubborn on the problem you're solving, but flexible on the solution you're using. So I've always been stubborn on the problem. The problem was higher education at scale, low cost, in a disruptive way, right? And that prepares leaders and problem solvers for the world, right? That has never changed. But the actual form of the university had to evolve, right? To adapt to market realities and affordability realities and so forth. But we never lost sight of the core problem we're solving, developing the next generation of leaders for the continent.
I was in Shanghai recently. I was in the midst of a number of other university leaders. Some universities that have been around for like 300 years. And here I was, 10 years old, you know. And I remember saying to a number of these, you know, institution leaders, and I said, I wish I could go back in time and sit with, you know, your predecessors who were at the helm of your institutions when they were in their 10th year. One of the educators in the room, who's also an academic and a professor, and he said to me, Veda, don't worry, where you guys are in your 10th year of existence is far better than where Harvard was, for instance, as it was still dealing with turmoil. So I think in many ways, I'm very proud of where we are on this journey, given the impact we've already had, the quality of the students, you know, and all of that.
What would you say to a future student coming here in the next 10 years?
Well, you know, that's a big question to ask as well. But I think from my experience being here, the first thing that I would tell a student coming here is be ready to be stretched beyond your imagination. You're going to be inspired. You're going to have to step out of your comfort zone. You're going to be challenged, but ultimately, the entire experience is going to be for your development. Learning doesn't just end in the classroom. Learning is a continuous journey that our faculty, our facilitators, everyone on campus really executes very well. You really get to discover yourself as an individual, as a leader, and what you want to achieve in life. As they say, you know, we have mission-driven majors.
By 2035, I hope to see more international students outside of the continent of Africa coming to ALU to be mission-driven changemakers for the continent of Africa and for the world at large.
For the next few years, I hope ALU will be producing one of the best generation of African leaders and also producing one of the best education you can find in the world.
I want to see ALU alum, ALU students be leaders in, you know, creating opportunities for other people. I keep saying opportunities because it's really what most people need. It's not everybody who gets to go to ALU, right? So like those who get opportunity to go to ALU, I want them to be the door for other people.
I would hope that it has played a very unique role in getting academia across the world to appreciate the fact that higher learning cannot be exclusively about the pursuit of knowledge just for the sake of knowledge. It also has to be around how do you prepare people to succeed in a very complex world. You can secure a job that gives you a dignified and fulfilling life. And if you're not doing that, you are also able to be creative enough and innovative enough to create jobs while still pursuing knowledge. Academia for far too long has felt like its sole purpose is just for intellectual pursuit. I don't think that's right. And I think we've proven in the last 10 years that if you're able to curate the learning of all of these things, then you're increasing the chances of your graduate to be successful in the real world, and I think we've lost a lot of that. And I think it is high time that, we give it back its due right and place in the 21st century, in the year 2025, and hopefully in the year 2035 as well.
As of 2024, we had over 30 campuses. I'd said 25. We had 30, right? And I'd said 250,000 students. We had 700,000 learners in 2024 and 200,000 graduates, right, in 2024 alone, between ALU and ALX. We've now created a model that has won awards around the world. It's considered one of the most innovative universities in the world. People are coming from all over the US and Europe to come and learn and say, how can they replicate this model in more advanced economies, right? So we've built a model that is not just the best for Africa, but one of the best in the world in just 10 years. Unbelievable. I mean, it took all these great universities centuries to become great. And in 10 years, look at what we've done. Now, there's a lot of work still to be done, but just let's remember how young we are. ALU was never about education. It was about transformation of a continent. The education, the leadership development, the young leaders, the faculty, the staff, we were all in service of that greater mission. What excites me most is seeing the impact of the alumni. We're starting to see our graduates grow up. They're entering leadership in government. They're scaling their organizations, the for-profit companies that they founded, the non-profit companies that they founded. They're working in great companies. I'm expecting to see more and more CEOs coming out of our alumni. I'm expecting to see more and more members of parliament, senators, mayors, governors of cities and states coming out of our alumni. I'm expecting to see many of them rise in corporate leadership. Some who have gone on to do PhD programs, winning awards for research. And then I'm expecting to see many, many more lives in Africa being touched because of the innovations that these young leaders are bringing to Africa and the jobs that they're creating as entrepreneurs.